Are we in like part 10, I think? I'm getting somewhere. Oh, I don't know where my phone is. Hopefully nobody wants to talk to me. Day 6, and we've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is then number 10. Oh, right. So what happened the day before yesterday was that a lot of strange, got a person with no face, which kinda looked like us, but maybe not. Two people acting very strange and just popping in and out of existence, which makes the Shurik disappearing and his strange "you hear the voices" comment made more interesting. Alright, so let's continue. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing had happened yet, it does not mean that I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then I realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which was not something I wanted to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer, well, two of them to be precise indeed, the scared one and the rude one. On the other hand, all the other inhabitants of this camp who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point, it was clear to me I had to do something on my own. I'm quite interested to see if he's a liar yet again. We'll see. What exactly? Everybody's probably having a dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Olga's place without being noticed. I mean, I complain a lot about his behavior, that is very weird, but I don't know what I would do in his stead. Like, for sure, if I decided to figure stuff out, I would go around looking for this strange pioneer to show up, I think. Going to Olga's place is the last place where he can get new information, right? Isn't it? Since that's the place he sleeps, where he lives, where his stuff are. He should know. I mean, maybe he can go through all of Olga's stuff. He hasn't done that yet. Interesting. I decided to first take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here, along with my cell phone. Oh? I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat. So for the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. That's an interesting plan. I leaped up the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. Quickly grabbed it and I was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. Message window was open. He hasn't saved his battery. He mentioned earlier that he haven't got a charger, but still has saved his battery. Message window was open. Text read, "You are wrong, Samyang. You are so wrong." Felt like my soul had left my body at a frozen spot. I was shaking and my blood was pumping so hard it felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. From who? From who? Who sent the message? It took at least a full minute for me to come back to my senses. Olga could have typed in that message. Oh. So it's sending a message, but then again, who is it sending the message to? One of the pioneers. It's easier to figure out how to do it even if you're not familiar with this technology. But no one beside me should know where I kept the phone. This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh, finally something is happening. I rushed out of the house, determined to never come back here. Night fell on the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try and run, to kill every single person in the camp? What? However, on the other hand, one thought chased me, and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happened here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. Yeah, agreed. Seems like they are oblivious, but then there are some that are not. A little bit like, Westworld kind of thing, where we got a lot of actors, robots, whatever, AI, just living their life. I'm not saying that it's not real, because I don't know if it's real or not, but they for sure seem that this is their real reality, then they behave like it anyway. It's the odd people sticking out, behaving weird. It's them we want to talk to more, right? Even though we might be. Let's just move on. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea, because everybody in the camp will be like, oh no, now Simeon is gone. Let's have a search party. No. Ah, nice. Paid off though. So you decided to escape after all. Turned around, but I couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. Of course you couldn't. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events, and somehow managed to reason appropriately and maintain the conversation. I wouldn't call this an escape, I answered slowly, stretching every word. Yeah, then what is it? Tactical retreat. Brilliant, he burst into laughter. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who are you and what do you want from me? Nice. Good thing. What did that guy tell you at the gate? It seemed like he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. Bad thing you answered his question. You should have just repeated your own question. I lied. But on the other hand, I don't remember what the other guy, but he seemed like afraid, so I thought he would have said that. Right, I thought that is what he meant. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Well, that's always the way for him, running away, hiding. I could hear the irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you're running here, but I'm not going to be a part of it. Who? Why not? He says with a creepy smile. You're the star after all, yeah? I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me then. I was like you in the beginning. The first time, everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on, got mad, and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless, continued the pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first, I just heard their voices from a distance and sometimes in my head. Then the vague silhouettes appeared. And then they slowly took on physical form. And finally, they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to the other pioneers. And they all were different. Different, do you get it? Different. he started shouting. And it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself, to interact with the others, but it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He fell silent. I didn't know what question to ask, and I didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a minute he continued. It's not that simple, of course. It's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remembered how I saw him the first time. The time when I didn't feel any emotions at all. Including the moments when you feel happy. He was reading my thoughts. See, they're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds, including the same camp with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you or that guy I met at the bus stop. Yeah, something like that. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding. And this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you said that everything recurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake in the bus, come to the camp, meet Olga, the girls, Electronic. But if it happens to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first I tried to remember them though. Here we go. Everlasting some. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder, it was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. Sure. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? Didn't answer. That's what that guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he understands nothing, damn it, he shouted. Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. Alright, but you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know since I've been around here for a long time? Yes, he asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There. Waved toward the forest. There's nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking for several days, I finally passed out. I found myself in the bus again. Same for walking along the road. It's endless. Talking to somebody about that is pointless. You probably understood that by yourself. Did I understood it super fast. I didn't understand it, and still I don't feel we have enough evidence of them. But let's move on. He interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best you'd just be considered an idiot. But if you try to not leave the bus, it's pointless. Sooner or later you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you start it by yourself and leave? No keys. I don't have any carjacking skills. Well, if you've been through this hundreds of times, and like you could spend time learning, right? Cursed cycle, exactly. A long silence fell. Finally I asked, what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is that no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. people. I feared them at first too, then I used them for different experiments. Now I don't. I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls, puppets, uh, and that's the Westworld thing. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. So they aren't worth fearing, are they? The one worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how funny it is when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension? Looks like he has finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that's a bit much too. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking, why I didn't check this all by myself, aren't you? Why didn't I try to reach the nearest village or town? Yes, I did have such thoughts. I had such thoughts before as well. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes, forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people, maybe? But I'm sure there are many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different. But the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. So let's talk about where do you come from? Where do you come from? And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs about you is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it for yourself. Oh, great, thanks. I don't know if I should thank him for that. Oh, yes, you should. Well, and what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. I wouldn't. Nuh-uh. That was a critical mistake, yeah. When I opened the eyes, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous times. So it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all this? And what is more important, where's the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant for me now. Yes, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things, and headed towards the cab. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone and some other stuff? There were hints, after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. It did nothing. The lights were on in Olga's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Speak of the devil, here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now. Let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me in surprise, fell into bed without undressing. Semyon, a role model pioneer shouldn't behave like that. Fuck you, Olga. How should he behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment as if struggling to pick up the right words. He should respect his seniors. Respect you immensely, for sure. Semyon. The sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. Now I'd like to go to sleep. Wait, by the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Oh, look at that. She said, let's talk about it tomorrow. So? Ask her tomorrow again. Please. Pretty please. The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. Yeah. That pioneer didn't have much credibility. Nope. But I had a feeling that he's unable to harm me. He's probably able to harm you. But even if he doesn't have much credibility in me, for sure shouldn't trust him. Get this nagging sensation that he's telling the truth. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Day 7. The bright sunlight was striking my eyes, even through my eyelids. I stretched out lazily and quickly got myself out of bed. It was 2 p.m. Looks like yesterday really finished me off, and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had to stroll around the room, thinking of what I should do today. Obviously, my life in the camp would never be the same again after everything that I'd heard from that strange pioneer. Yep. And if everything is just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take only a couple of steps as somebody ran into my back. I turned around and saw Elisa. Hey, be careful, she said indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of bag in her hands. Whatever, yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice-cold water to bring myself to my senses and refresh my head, at least a bit. I felt a bit better after that. Suddenly, hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as that guy told me. Good morning, he said. I heard a faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning. Are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again and it seemed like it was the pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. Indeed, I was prepared for such weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised, and I started this conversation quite clear-headed. You didn't believe him, did you? What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Oh, they all look the same, yeah. They look at me, so we're all the same. Alright, but what's your opinion on what's happening? I'd already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. That's actually very quite clever. Keep a more level head if you distance yourself from stuff. It's usually that like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy strategy. Distance yourself mentally. It's easier to keep a level head. Deep breaths. Hopefully, it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. Yeah, exactly. There is an exit. There has to be, he said excitedly. I don't know, but I'd like to believe that too. If you just... Semyon, Flavia said. I turned around. Flavia was standing right next to me. Who were you talking to? No one. Just talking to myself. Nice. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared for another hike? No, today's the last day of the session. What session? What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus in the evening. We're leaving. Oh, holy cow. I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but this. So it's only a week. Was this that mysterious? Well, it's day 6. Or wait, what day is it? It's day 7. Yeah, it's 1 week. Was this what that mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably was. Well, apparently, I'll have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. This time I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It's not like I have much to pack anyway. Okay, Slavia shifted her gaze. It seemed like she wanted to say something, but hesitated. Well, see ya then. Yeah. I had to ask when we're leaving, at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. Oh, please look for Olga. She's just gonna say, oh, we leave in the evening. There's gotta be someone I know there. But believe it or not, there was only Genda waiting for me in the square. Probably all the pioneers are busy packing. I took a seat on a bench and just stared at the sky. It turns out that today I just have to wait for the departure, pass out on the bus, and wake up in this camp again, just like the first day. Everything was drowning in silence. It's exactly that time of summer day when the sun seems stuck in the sky, the birds and crickets have gone for an after lunch doze, and the wind is saving its energy to deliver long awaited coolness to people in the evening. It suddenly crossed my mind that I haven't just missed lunch, but I haven't had any breakfast either. It was ridiculous to search for anything in the canteen. The pioneers had surely cleaned up everything just before their departure. I scratched my head and made my way to Olga's cabin. Surely there would be something edible in the table drawers. Someone called for me just as I approached the door. Shuriken Electronics swiftly approached the cabin. Are you already packed up? Already packed up, I answered, imitating him. You haven't been quite yourself for the last few days. We met 7 days ago. The last few days, let's say few means 3. That's like half of the days. So what's make you say that? How should I know? You know better. Yeah. I mean, why are you so concerned? No reason. A real pioneer always treats a comrade's problems as his own. Cast a skeptical look at him. Thanks for your concern. I'm fine. There actually was half a loaf of stale bread and a piece of smoked sausage in the drawer. Nice. I've ate everything with deliberate pleasure, washing it down with smelly water that Olga probably used to water the plants. Just as I finished, someone started knocking at the door. Come in. Liana rushed into the room. Oh, it's just you, she said disappointedly. And who did you expect to see? A circus complete with bears? Liana giggled. Where's Olga? I don't know. I shrugged. Why not? I didn't know because I don't know. What do you want from her anyway? I gotta ask something for the departure. Okay, I'll tell her that you were searching for her if I see her. By the way, why aren't you packing up? Like I have much to pack. Well, see ya. She cracked a sly smile and bounded out of the cabin, slamming the door behind her. And it's still And still, it's really strange that nobody seems to be puzzled by the sudden departure. Not really. If they all knew that they were just here for a week, then it's weird that they don't talk about it. That's for sure. It's weird that they don't talk about the outside world at all. And why am I the only one who was not expecting it? Like everyone really cares. I've packed my things up. So with that, doesn't anyone care that this is the last time we're seeing each other? The words of that guy in the forest yesterday about all the camp's tenants being unreal suddenly spring into mind. Well, right now I'm more ready to believe it than ever. The desk drawer where I found my breakfast contained lots of odds and ends. I grabbed a pencil and a piece of paper, examined them for some time, and then slipped them into my pocket. Just in case. I had no intention of watching over all the pioneers running around and packing. So I just lay down on my bed and I didn't even notice how I dazed off. Spending most of his time sleeping. It was somebody's voice that woke me up. A familiar pioneer was sitting directly opposite, with his back to me. I'd gotten used to him a bit since yesterday, and it even seemed that I stopped fearing him. Hey, why do you always hide your face? Because you shouldn't see it. You say so. I wasn't in a position to argue. So, what are you going to reveal this time? You already know that it's the last day of the session, don't you? Yep. And you've already spoken with that one. Yep. So what did he tell you? Nothing special. He said that there's an exit out of here. Pioneer burst into laughter. Yeah, I believed that too ages ago. And now? And what is now? I have my past, my life back then. Oh, great. He stopped talking for some time. Anyway, it was all a long time ago, so I don't really remember. The future is all the same. Loops, loops, loops. Repetition of the same story. Where is this now? Well, I hate to say it, but I'm not yet as lost in time as you are. Yeah. Oh, that's nothing. That'll come with time. He broke into diabolical laughter. There's just one thing I don't understand. What's your reasoning for coming to me? What do you expect to achieve? Me? Nothing really. So why did you come then? It's just because you, him, and others like us are the only real people around here. Given everything he'd said to me already, I just wasn't ready to believe that all the local tenants are just puppets in some kind of hellish stage play. Are you sure that you're right? Right about what? Well, that you're right about everything. I can't be right or wrong. I didn't choose this world, I didn't throw myself into it. I'm just here, you're just here. Listen, I've already got a headache from your philosophizing. I was kind of puzzled myself as to why I was so calm talking to this mysterious pioneer. Well, here it is, right in front of me, all the fancy and the devilry that's happening in this camp. Here it is, an explanation, at least a partial one, for how I got here. Here they are, the answers I've searched for such a long time. On the other hand, my behavior was quite logical. While I couldn't quite explain what was happening, this cuckoo guy just talked and talked, but it's not like his words changed anything. Sure they did. He changed everything, that's what you said. Then what's the point of listening to him? Oh no, you will soon understand everything yourself, he said. Somebody was knocking at the door. I got up, opened it. It was Slavy on the doorstep. You come to see Olga? No, come in then. I was 100% sure that the pioneers had already disappeared. Turns out I was right. Slabbe took a seat on the bed and I snuggled against the wardrobe in the far corner of the room. She was distinctly nervous. Did something happen? Not really, it's just today is the last day. Well, I'm already aware. Better late than never. Well, so I thought. I mean, we probably won't see each other ever again. It's a small world, as they say. But but maybe you would give me your address to write letters. Oh, nice. Would have if I only knew it myself. What? Don't you know your own address? Are you serious? Let's do it the other way around. You give me your address. I'll definitely write you upon arrival. But why don't you want to give yours? Yeah, exactly. Why don't you want to give yours? Well, we were just about to move, so you never know. It's better if I write to you. I tried to put on my cutest smile to make my story more credible. Okay, it's fine then. Slavia got up and seemed to be leaving. Hey, wait, what about the address? Let's do it later. An expression of sorrow and disappointment crossed her face. Why wouldn't you just write down an address and then get her? Oh, maybe. Because if it's like the author know what he wants to be happening, like the if statement, but me as a reader don't know them. Because if he would have given her the address, then she would have just say, oh, I write you my address later, so you can answer, right? Instead of just giving it to him right now. It's like, it's not a logical behavior. Like, it's normal people. Well, I say normal people. I don't know about normal people, but I would assume that if I was gonna get a pen pal, at the moment of starting the pen palery, I would switch addresses, like when you switch phone numbers with someone. Nowadays, you don't switch addresses, you switch phone numbers. Usually you do it, so we both get each other's numbers straight away. I just shut the door right then, and right then heard the spiteful voice of the pioneer from behind. Well, happy now, you hurt the girl. What have I hurt her with? What should I have said to her? My dear, write to my dear granny in the village? Or should I have left her the address of a house that's probably not even built yet? Yeah, you should have. So what? I'm not my brother's keeper. It's your world, not mine. I'll manage somehow in my own. That last phrase really made me squirm. You know what? I didn't manage to finish the phrase. Someone was knocking at the door again. Come in. Uliana flew into the cabin. What's the rush, my lady? I made an excessive show of bow. Me, I just... Her eyes darted about curiously, and her cheeks were blushed. I just wanted to say goodbye. There won't be time for that anyway. After all, we'll be going on the same bus. Yeah, you're right, but it's kind of embarrassing in front of everybody. Oh, so there's something that you can be embarrassed by. I laughed. She pouted. I just wanted to tell you that you aren't a douche, really. In fact, you're almost a cool guy. Her words astonished me. Well, thanks. You're good to hang out with, too. Well, that's that. She rushed outside, slamming the door loudly. Hey, didn't expect that from her, did you? Did you? I got nothing to do with that, I told you. It really looks like you knew what she will say. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Came here just to mock me? I started to lose my temper. That idea had also crossed my mind. Then why the hell are you hanging around here? If I ever need a man to comment on all my actions, I'll hire a professional psychologist. You think that after all this time, I don't qualify as one? My estimation is that After all this time here, you've definitely gone bananas. All psychologists are freaks. Yes, but not all freaks are psychologists. I don't agree, he laughed out loud. Sense of humor, how encouraging. Frankly, your jokes are frankly lame. Who are you laughing at? At yourself. Listen, you've got nothing to do in your own world, so go bug that second one. And have you got anything to do in your world? The pioneer sharply countered. You know, I'll find out what to do. I'll pack up my things, leave the camp, and then what? Then what? Like I know. I've never been in such a situation before, believe it or not. It's just that you've forgotten that you won't be able to leave this camp. Yeah, I was right in this matter, probably. Just because you failed to do so doesn't mean that I will fail to do so too. You're the boss. Cheers. There was a knocking on the door, so quiet that I barely heard it. Damn it, who else is it? I hissed under my breath and shouted, "Come in!" But the door didn't open, so I pulled the handle myself. Lena was on the doorstep. It looks like I really scared her. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You came to see Olga? No, she said, staring at the ground. So what is it then? What did Lena want from me? Come in. She came in and hesitated in the middle of the room. Want to take a seat? I pointed to one of the beds. Lena hesitated a bit, but nevertheless took a seat. Did something happen? Not at all. It's just she threw a quick glance at me, but blushed at once and looked away. Here. Lena took something out of her pocket and handed it to me. I was stunned. It was my phone. But where did you get it from? I found it in the forest. Okay, why did you think it's mine? Some boy told me so. Oh, have you ever seen him before? I don't know. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a pioneer uniform. Oh, look at that. Everything was clear at once. And don't you wonder what it is? Looked at the screen. There was still some battery left, therefore the cell phone shouldn't just look like a piece of plastic to Lena. I don't know, some kind of game. Yeah, you're right. I quickly opened Snake in the menu and handed the phone to her. Here you go, keepsake. Oh, what are you doing? I can't. Lena waved her hands at me. Take it, I have loads of these at home. She resisted a bit more, but finally she took the device. What do I do with it? Press the keys to move left and right. You've got to eat those pellets and keep from hitting your own tail. Wow, so interesting, she smiled. Thank you. And yet I have... Oh, thank you. And yet I have nothing for you. It's so embarrassing. I don't need anything, thanks. No, that's no good, she said, with a voice that sounded more confident than usual. It's the last day today, after all. Yeah. I hope we'll meet again. I think we will. Then I have a present for you. What is it? Close your eyes. I did so. I promise that you won't open them until I tell you. Okay. No, you have to promise. All right, I promise. In a moment, I felt a light kiss on my cheek. I was really eager to open my eyes, but I promised. Open. The room was empty. What a girl. The only thing I managed to say. So, how does it feel, stud? I heard a malicious laughter from the place where Lena had just been sitting. So is that your new way of pranking me, Eddie? Using the others? Me? Pranking? God forbid. Indeed, you got a kiss from a sweet girl, thanks to me, on the cheek anyways, but I really wanted to beat him up at that moment, but I wasn't even sure that he's a physical being here. Well, I mean, he was your wingman right now. I presume this prank wasn't your last one? I said calmer. Who knows, isn't it fun? Pioneer laughed hard. Perhaps Professor Moriarty laughed like that, anticipating the success of his diabolical plan. You're certainly having fun, but I'm not. Relax, dude. There's almost nothing left. Here you go, your second lap. After you do a dozen, Then you'll earn a pit stop. Although you probably won't need me then. You'll figure out everything yourself. It's not like I need you right now either. Oh, what ingratitude. Just cut it out. If you'd ever... Just shut up already. No understanding. Shut your damned mouth! I screamed so loud that the walls trembled. The front door suddenly burst open and Elisa came in. Is it just me, or has someone gone completely nuts? She asked with fright. Well, you could say so, I asked angrily. Why are you yelling? Because I want to. I've already realized that the accidental arrival of Elisa was either planned by this pioneer or would be commented on by him in a manner that I'd sooner drive a pair of nails into my ears than have to hear. That's rough. Have you gone psycho or something? Elisa reclined a bit in the laid-back manner. To what do I owe the honor? Oh, I just came for the sake of it, and you're just here screaming. You aren't doing anything just for the sake of it. I've got nothing to do. I've packed my stuff. It's boring. Well. If you think that I'd come to you because... He threw an angry glance at me and turned away. I really shouldn't have come after that. After what? I haven't said a word. Of course, you thought it instead. Oh, so you can read minds now? There's no need to read your mind. It's written all over your face. It was hardly possible to read anything on my face besides fatigue and anger. And what have you read here? That's none of your business. Well, it's not like I'm holding you here. Forget it. I'll go wherever I please. Don't boss me around. Okay, stay here then, for God's sakes. Anyway, I liked Elisa's company more than the pioneers. Like Elisa's company way more than I enjoyed the pioneers. I lay back and closed my eyes. It took Elisa a few minutes to break the silence. Really don't want to tell me anything? For example, today's the last day after all. So, you're happy? Well, she babbled uncertainly. Everybody is leaving. Good riddance. And that's all? Need something else? Didn't you like it here? Her voice sounded unusual. I've seen better places. Damn, you're so dumb that speaking to you is a complete waste of time. She got up and headed to the exit. Yep, good luck to you too. Lisa turned to me. Her face was writhing with anger. Couldn't you at least have said that you'll miss me? Let's put this as a saving spot. Save game. Save game, yes.